Amanda Marie Knox, an American exchange student from Seattle, arrived in Perugia, Italy, in September 2007, eager to begin a year of study abroad at the University for Foreigners. She moved into a charming, shared apartment at Via della Pergola 7 with several roommates, including 21-year-old Meredith Kircher, a British student from the University of Leeds. What began as an exciting cultural experience for both young women would soon descend into a horrific tragedy and a long, tumultuous legal battle. On November 2, 2007, Meredith Kircher was found brutally murdered in her bedroom in a shared apartment. Her throat had been cut, and she had been sexually assaulted. The discovery of her body initiated a complex investigation that quickly drew in Knox and her Italian boyfriend, Raffaele Salcedo, who she had met just a few weeks prior. Police quickly focused on Knox and Salcedo due to their behavior in the immediate aftermath of the discovery of Meredith's body, which authorities found to be unusual and indicative of guilt. Specifically, their apparent lack of distress, their public displays of affection, and conflicting statements given during interrogation raised suspicion. During intense police interrogations, the circumstances of which later became a major point of contention, Amanda Knox initially implicated herself and Patrick Lumumba, a Congolese bar owner where she worked part-time. Lumumba was arrested, but quickly released when he provided a strong alibi. Knox later stated that her confession was coerced and that she was subjected to psychological pressure and mistreatment by the police without proper legal representation or an adequate interpreter. In the early days of the investigation, another individual, Rudy Guede, an Ivorian drifter with a criminal record, was identified. His DNA was found extensively at the crime scene, including inside Meredith Kircher. Guede fled Italy, but was apprehended in Germany. He chose a fast-track trial process, and in October 2008, he was found guilty of the sexual assault and murder of Meredith Kircher and sentenced to 30 years in prison, later reduced to 16 years on appeal. Despite Guede's conviction, Italian prosecutors maintained that he did not act alone, believing that Knox and Salcedo were also involved. The legal journey for Amanda Knox and Raffaele Salcedo was extraordinarily convoluted, characterized by multiple trials and appeals, a system common in Italy, but often perplexing to outside observers. First trial, 2009. Knox and Salcedo were tried together. The prosecution presented a complex theory, alleging that the three, Knox, Salcedo, and Guede, had committed the murder during a drug-fueled sexual encounter that went wrong. The case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence and disputed DNA findings, including a knife from Salcedo's apartment believed to be the murder weapon and a bra clasp found at the scene. On December 4, 2009, both Knox and Salcedo were found guilty of murder and sexual assault. Knox was sentenced to 26 years in prison, and Salcedo to 25 years. First appeal, 2011. Knox and Salcedo appealed their convictions. During this appeal, an independent review of the DNA evidence found significant flaws in the original forensic analysis, citing potential contamination and improper collection techniques. This severely weakened the prosecution's case. On October 3, 2011, the appeals court overturned their convictions for murder, ruling that there was insufficient evidence to prove their guilt. Both Knox and Salcedo were immediately released from prison after nearly 4 years. Amanda Knox returned to the United States. Supreme Court reversal, 2013. The Italian Supreme Court of Cassation, Italy's highest court, overturned the 2011 acquittal in March 2013, citing manifest illogicalities and ordering a new appellate trial. This meant Knox and Salcedo would face trial again for the murder. Second appellate trial, 2014. This retrial took place in Florence, Italy. Amanda Knox did not return to Italy for this trial. The court reinstated the guilty verdicts from the first trial. On January 30, 2014, Knox was again found guilty and sentenced to 28 years and 6 months in prison, while Salcedo received a 25-year sentence. Final Supreme Court acquittal. 2015, both Knox and Salcedo appealed again to the Supreme Court of Cassation. On March 27, 2015, Italy's highest court delivered its definitive verdict, definitively acquitting both Amanda Knox and Rafael Salcedo of Meredith Kercher's murder. The court found that there was a lack of credible evidence to support the charges against them and criticized the shortcomings of the initial investigation. This final ruling legally exonerated them from the murder charges. While definitively acquitted of murder, Amanda Knox's legal troubles in Italy were not entirely over. Her initial accusation of Patrick Lumumba during police interrogation led to a separate slander conviction. This conviction was upheld through multiple appeals, including by the Italian Supreme Court in 2024. Although the conviction stands, Knox has already served more time than the sentence requires due to her prior incarceration. The Amanda Knox case became a global media phenomenon, often dubbed Foxy Knoxy by some tabloids, a nickname that fueled a sensationalized narrative. It sparked intense debates about the fairness of the Italian justice system, the reliability of forensic evidence, police interrogation tactics, and the ethics of media coverage. Public opinion was sharply divided, with strong proponents for both her guilt and her innocence. Since her definitive acquittal, Amanda Knox has become an author, journalist, and advocate for criminal justice reform, speaking out about wrongful convictions and the trauma of the justice system. She continues to maintain her innocence regarding the murder of Meredith Kercher, a young woman whose tragic death remains at the heart of this complex and enduring mystery. The case of Amanda Knox is not just a story of crime and punishment, but also a stark illustration of how international legal systems, media scrutiny, and public perception can intertwine to shape a person's life and legacy.